Good afternoon, good evening, good morning to wherever you are in the world currently watching my presentation. My name is Joshua Leaney and I'm an undergraduate student at Loyola University in New Orleans that double majors in physics and computer science. Today I'm here to present to you my independent research on virtual reality simulations for magnetism and solid state physics education. I've been working in conjunction with Dr. Jamila Beek Mohammadi on this independent research for the past 8 months. And this is the culmination of results that I have so far and what we're looking towards in the future. Both of us are members of the Department of Physics at Loyola University in New Orleans, Louisiana. What is the purpose of this research? The purpose of this research is to, in fact, enlighten students on the potential of virtual reality in education. One of the biggest factors and biggest difficulties in teaching physics, especially to undergraduate students at college, is the fact that you have to accommodate to different learning styles. Some people are visual, some people are audible, some people need to have physical manipulation of things to learn the best. And it's really hard to teach physics in 2D, especially to those students who are not spatially aware of what's going on around them. So the purpose of this is to investigate and look at other alternatives for teaching that can help accommodate said learning styles and actually make it much easier for professors, for anyone who's trying to educate students on how lattice structures and electromagnetism and solid state physics works. So far, what I've seen is that the results of this investigation, it makes it like a 3D game-like feeling towards learning. One of the biggest factors in the current education system for younger students, which I've noticed and is continually being pushed towards, is to create game-like education tools. This comes from things like mathletics, which teaches students like mathematics while they're playing games and engages students more readily. This particular form of education where you have game-like interactions is both visual, audible, and it's also physical. So with the virtual reality and augmented reality, you're able to achieve all those three things with audible instruction, with visual in front of you, and by physical touch, which you will get through using the device. The first and primary method of what I've designed in Unity, as well as using an Oculus Quest headset, is the ability to visualize structures. So one of the most difficult things is to see these things in 2D and put them into 3D. When you observe objects in 3D, it becomes much easier to understand how symmetry applies and how basis vectors are formed for these 3D lattice structures. I've just demonstrated on the screen what happens in the virtual reality game that I've developed when you look at two different things and you try to visualize them individually. Next, we come with the proponent of familiarity. A lot of people struggle with the concept of thinking of these lattice structures in terms of a physical object. So for example, you can see we have salt here, we have gold, we have an iron ball coming up, a magnet, and a diamond. Now, these are all individually different structures, and the reason I've selected these is to demonstrate the various structures and the various configurations you can have, because not all of these are the exact same. Some of them have different bonding styles. Some of them have different atoms in each spot. For example, this body-centered cubic one. There are many different ways to look at this and many different things you can familiarize yourself with to engage in these physics concepts more readily. The next thing that we're looking at is how you can visualize these things and look at these things and manipulate these things in multiple dimensions with multiple different lattice types. So previously, I showed that you could visualize what gold would look like, what a gold coin is made of. you could visualize what a diamond was made of. And in this, now you can actually look at the individual structures with simple cubic, body semi-cubic, face semi-cubic, and diamond, and actually have them in a 3D space and look at them in 1 dimension, 2 dimension, and 3 dimension. And this is where you'll select that, and you can look and you can see different levels of these lattice structures as they present on the game. These are all built within the game, so if you would use this, you would be able to see them all, and we can build upon these in the future too. The last thing that I was developing was being able to build these lattice structures. So one of the unique tools about Unity is you can create like child objects and have them respawn and relocate themselves, and then changing materials as well. So one of the key things we're trying to teach here with building, especially, is when you say, okay, so we have the sodium chloride lattice structure. Now we want to develop that sodium chloride lattice structure, right? We want to do the sodium, then a chloride, then we want to do another sodium, and we want to do it 1 by 1 by 1, so that you end up having the right structure. Well, here I'm just showing multiple different forms where you can use 3 different colors. So if you have 3 atoms within a lattice, you can use that all in 1 lattice. Then we get to the cool physics features of VR. So in some VR tools, the ones specifically that I've developed, you can grab objects and you can rotate them and you can move them such that you're able to visualize said things and engage in all of these different things on multiple levels. You can do this at 1 by 1 dimension, at 2 by 2, and at 3 by 3. Manipulating these objects in 3D space allows you to observe and engage in different lattice structures, which accommodates towards learning different styles. You can back away from objects and manipulate them using your wrist. You can do a whole bunch of variety of things, and all of these is to engage in physicality in VR. Once the product gets, or the research gets further developed towards more electromagnetic properties, you could see things like electromagnetic waves propagating out of these and having magnetic directions pointed out of these with magnetic arrows. Things like that with anti-parallel and parallel fields will allow the engagement of the physicality in VR to be substantial that you're able to enjoy and learn and grow with all these concepts over time. Here we have displayed a diamond, and this is one perfect example. Visualizing this in 2D space is very, very hard. But in 3D space, where you can manipulate this and you can move it around, it's much, much easier to be able to see these things and engage in them. In the future, this program, although it's only 8 months old, I've had to teach myself Unity right now. So I'm moving towards developing some of these future developments with magnetic field interactions, parallel and anti-parallel magnetic field arrows, as well as having electrical properties associated with those magnetic things, because on the very microscopic scale, slight changes in magnetism affects electrical dynamics too. So there are some things that I'm looking at developing towards. They're all things that I'm currently working on, but have not implemented within my current program, because I don't want to create any errors, because that's the computer science worst nightmare, is creating errors and propagating errors. So they're all independent currently, but they will be implemented into the module soon. The last thing I wanted to work on is increasing the portability across multiple devices. That comes very simply with Unity. There's lots of different plugins for that. But having that being able to engage from a virtual reality headset to being on a computer to then being on like Google Glasses, which is with your phone, and having that being all interactable and having all those different features is something that I will be looking at in the future. Well, we will, Dr. Mohammadi and I will be looking at in the future, but those things are slowly to develop tools that I'm going to be implementing once I develop the substance, the teaching substance that allows professors and educators to increase the education aspect of using this tool rather than having it as just something extra. The site can be actually the main source of material. I hope you enjoyed listening to my presentation. My name, once again, is Joshua Leaney. You can find me and contact me through that email. You can also find me on other platforms, including LinkedIn. The funding that was provided for this was by Loyola through the Father Carter Fund that supported this research. I'm very thankful for this opportunity to work with this money and work on this project. It's been a blessing. If you have any questions or anything, please feel free to shoot me them through that email. If you have anything to ask of Dr. Mahamani for future references as well, you can always email me at that email address and I'll pass you on her email. Thank you very much.